Hi everyone, I'm Shelby Hartman, DoubleBlind's editor-in-chief, and I'm here today to talk to you about the benefits of ayahuasca. As many of you probably know, in recent decades, ayahuasca has been growing exponentially in popularity at retreat centers and ceremonies abroad, and both underground in the United States, Canada, Europe, and elsewhere. Ayahuasca really has become a global movement. For those of you who don't know, ayahuasca has been used for thousands of years ceremonially among indigenous communities in the Amazon. And so the globalization of ayahuasca has become a very controversial topic. There are a lot of people who feel like Westerners, people who don't have an ancestral tie to ayahuasca, shouldn't be drinking it at all. Totally understand those concerns, and that is something that we do and will address in other articles, specifically around this concept of sacred reciprocity and the very, very important act of giving back to indigenous communities who have ancestral ties to plant medicines if you're going to use them. But that's for another video. So what are the benefits of ayahuasca? Why are so many people drinking it? Well, there really is very little scientific research investigating ayahuasca right now. There was one double-blind randomized clinical trial out of Brazil which looked at ayahuasca for treatment-resistant depression. It was just with 29 patients, except that a lot of them did report significant improvements in their depression shortly after one session with ayahuasca. So it was a pretty incredible results. Otherwise, there isn't much. People drink ayahuasca for substance use disorder, alcoholism. There's a whole movement of veterans and people with post-traumatic stress disorder going down to the Amazon to drink ayahuasca. So we have tons and tons of anecdotal reports, essentially people saying, I had this condition, I went to the Amazon, or I found an underground community in my city, I drank ayahuasca, and now I'm better. But there isn't a lot of science backing those claims up. While there's only been one double-blind randomized clinical trial that we know of investigating ayahuasca for mental health, there have been a number of what we call observational or empirical studies. This essentially means that there wasn't a formal clinical trial where there were subjects who were given a placebo and subjects who were given the actual drug, and neither the researchers nor the subjects knew who was getting which is sort of considered the gold standard in science. But there are studies where a group of people do ayahuasca for a particular condition, and then afterwards they're interviewed and assessed for improvement. So there was a study looking at 57 ayahuasca ceremony attendees in the Netherlands and Colombia in 2014, which found that after their ayahuasca experiences, their symptoms of depression and stress significantly improved immediately after and at the 4-week follow-up. There was another study done in 2014 which assessed the role of ayahuasca in addiction treatment and found that in, quote, carefully structured settings that administering ayahuasca could help significantly decrease the chances of relapse. So again, a lot more research is needed, not only more rigorous studies, but longer term follow-ups. We need this in the research looking at all psychedelics, right? Someone improving significantly from depression directly after an ayahuasca ceremony or 4 weeks after an ayahuasca ceremony is a really good thing, but what happens to these people 3, 5, 10 years down the line? Do they need to continue to drink ayahuasca to see long-term benefits? We don't know. In terms of the risks of ayahuasca, you're likely not going to be doing ayahuasca by yourself. We definitely do not recommend this. If you do ayahuasca, you're going to probably be doing it, as mentioned before, at a retreat center or at a ceremony. If you're looking for a list of trusted, vetted retreat centers, you can check out our course, which includes ayahuasca retreat centers that we trust. It also includes some tips on how you can vet a retreat center to make sure that you're going to be properly supported. But if you go to an ayahuasca retreat center that's doing things properly, or a facilitator that's doing things properly, then they're going to do an intake of your mental health to make sure that you don't have any health conditions and you're not on any medications that could potentially be dangerous when under the influence of ayahuasca. Most ayahuasca retreat centers will not let you drink ayahuasca if you're on SSRIs. We have an article on our website that gets more into that and why. Additionally, you don't want to be drinking ayahuasca if you have a heart problem or if you have high blood pressure. Otherwise, ayahuasca is believed to be relatively safe. It's important to note that ayahuasca, as with all things, all psychedelics and meditation techniques and breathwork techniques and etc., is not a panacea. So you probably have heard a lot of stories about, oh, I was, this and that, and my life was going terribly, and I was suffering, and then I went to the Amazon and I drank ayahuasca, and voila, everything's better. Well, that can happen, and sometimes after an ayahuasca experience, people will get back and they make dramatic changes to their life, whether it's, quitting their job or divorcing their partner or, moving, etc. But typically, ayahuasca is, it's kind of a lifelong journey, and you drink it for the first time, and afterwards, you can have a lot of realizations and you can feel better, but also a lot of times immediately after a ceremony, people feel like things have been kind of stirred up for them, and they maybe even feel a little bit worse because it's brought things to the surface that they didn't know were there. And so ayahuasca does have tons of benefits, whether you are, struggling with depression and addiction, or whether you're just, a quote unquote healthy, a healthy person. A healthy normal is what they call it in science, but we don't really like to use that term because we just think of mental health as a spectrum, right? And everybody falls somewhere on it. It can help, you with clarity. It can help with spiritual awakening. It can help with personal growth. It can help you feel more connected to the world around you. It can help you feel more compassion for your family, for your friends, for the person you buy your coffee from in the morning. So ayahuasca really can awaken you to so many beautiful things that live within you and that live within the environment around you that maybe you weren't noticing before. And there's so much healing to be found within it. And I can say that personally because I've been drinking ayahuasca for 5 years, but I still struggle. And everyone who does ayahuasca still struggles. The road never ends. The road of self-discovery never ends. And so that's sort of where I would leave it, is if you feel called to do ayahuasca, and it really is a personal calling, it's hard to explain, but you're gonna know and you're gonna feel called, you're gonna hear about it, and you're really gonna think on a deep level like, oh, maybe this is something that I want to experience, then do your research. There are a lot of benefits. There are some risks too. And just know that it's not the end all be all. And some people drink ayahuasca once and then they go, well, that was a lot and I never want to do that again. And a lot of people drink ayahuasca and really cultivate a personal relationship with the plant and continue to drink it for years and years and years and years. And there is no right or wrong about how often to drink ayahuasca. Some people drink it a lot. I have friends who drink it multiple times a month. Some people drink it once a year. Some people drink it once every 5 years. We get more into this in our course as we teach you the fundamentals of integration and what it really means to get the most out of your experience with psychedelics. But my only tip in terms of frequency would be make sure that you're really ready to go back for more, and make sure that you've really taken the time to sit with the lessons that ayahuasca gave you in your last ceremony, because more medicine is not always the answer. And safe journeys. And if you're curious to learn more about other kinds of psychedelics, check out our website, doubleblindmag.com, check out our YouTube channel, check out our Instagram, and also just feel free to email us or message us on Instagram, because we're here to support you on your journey with plant medicines. This is really, truly our purpose, and we want to do that. So reach out anytime.